Hello and welcome. Today I'm joined by my guest, John Paul. How you doing, John? Paul.
I'm very well.
JP?
JP,
The man,
JP.
a man so famous within our industry, they gave him two first names so nobody forgot. John Paul, today we're talking about something very exciting. Obviously, it's the upcoming launch of Prospector Pro, and I know you want to talk about what you guys are doing to launch it. But to talk about prospecting in general, it's something that when you hear the word prospecting as an estate agent, it always instantly makes you feel a little bit guilty because you know it's one of those things that you should be doing, but it's so hard to implement. Sometimes it's the ABCs of estate agency. You know that prospecting brings results. You know that it breeds leads. But what you sometimes fail to connect the punches with is in terms of getting your staff to buy in and following it through all the way to the end. So I know a lot of people, including myself, I've got to say over time, who've tried to get their teams to prospect, and it always seems to come apart. Why is it, do you think, that this is so difficult for agents, and what are you doing about it?
Do you know, it's a really, really good question. And I think it boils down to a couple of things. One, it's a cultural thing. I think British people are not very good at asking for business or prospecting or picking up the phone. You look at the Australians, you look at the Americans, you even look at any other industry. We're very good at, or they are very good at picking up the phone saying, hi, just reconnecting, can I have your business? In England or Britain, I think it's because it's that cultural thing. We don't like doing it. I think we don't like hearing the word no or bugger off, leave me alone. And I think it's something what we call mental fitness. So mental fitness is literally how well you recover from something. You know, lifting weights doesn't mean you're fit. Running a marathon doesn't mean you're fit if you're on the floor for 2 days and you can't get up and go to the bathroom. So mental fitness is how you recover from something. So if you're mentally fit and tough and resilient, you'll get a no and you go, no worries, thanks very much, put the phone down, and then you're on to the next one. So I think the cultural thing, I think lack of training as well. And I think a lack of importance placed on prospecting by the decision makers or the business owners is a big reason why, as an industry, estate agents and letting agents in the UK are not very good at it.
So you've approached prospecting in an entirely different way, and to anybody that's had a little bit of a demo and has seen it, I don't want to put out any spoilers here, but it's refreshing, because I said to you at the beginning of, well, I said to you at the end that I thought at the beginning that actually this would be something that my team would hate to use because, you know, they don't like doing prospecting, and how on earth would this make this any better? And at the end of it, I came away thinking they're going to love this. They're going to love interacting with it. And there's an element of almost gamification. But give us your overview of what you've tried to achieve.
Yeah, so there's a real sort of shift in the market at the minute where you've got agents, because prop tech companies aren't identifying certain issues in the industry. So you're getting agents, you know, Mike, I hope they don't mind me giving a bit of a shout out, but you've got Christian Byfield, you've got Michael Nettleton, who are building proper solutions to issues that agents are facing on a day-to-day basis. And I just looked at the same. So myself and my business partner, my co-founder, we said, what are the reasons? What are the problems in the industry? So let's look at the excuses. I can't find the data. I don't know what to say. I don't know when to prospect. I haven't got the time. And the big one is that's all the quantity, the reasons I'm not making the calls, but what is the reasons for the quality of the calls as well? So what we've done is we just reverse engineered it. If I owned an agency, you know, what would be the reasons? And because I did have 11 branch agency until the end of 2022 when I exited, what were the issues and problems that I was coming up against? And these were the issues, and we just went, right, how do we make the solution? And hence Prospector Pro was born and the evolution of it.
And I mean, it always, when I've seen sort of solutions that are built by agents for agents, I think there is a different there really is a different application, and I think they are adopted a lot more easily by agents because they instantly get it, because it's almost built intuitively for them. One of the things I think that also causes some sort of team managers anxiety will be, how do you track the prospecting that's going on? So do you literally stand over somebody's desk and sort of listen into what they're saying? And I've personally worked in an office where that's happened on more than one occasion, but that's not great because it doesn't make the call any better. It puts everybody under pressure, and you're flapping around in the background trying to say, now say this and now say that.
Yeah.
But you've got a solution to being able to properly report, monitor, but also improve the level of conversation and the quality of conversations that people are having.
And that's a great point. You know, a lot of people, if you have the data in your business to see how many calls your team are making, that's one thing. What you can't do is go into it in further detail to understand what are the most common objections they're coming up against, what is the most common reason for call, also the success of those different calls. Our system can do that. But you alluded to, and you're absolutely right, is that's the quantity of calls. We want the quality of calls.
Yeah.
You know, again, just making the calls is one thing, but looking at ways to improve the calls, that's take it to the next level. So we've hooked up to, it's basically called call sentiment analysis. We call them scorecards. So every call has a scorecard, every call session has a scorecard, and every call user, we're working on this at the minute, will have a scorecard. So you can measure and track the improvements over a period of time of the person making the calls. So things like talk to listen ratio will be measured. You know, if you're talking 80% of the time and the client's only talking 20, there's a real issue. You've got filler words, stuff like that. You know, we've read a lot of research on this and looked at a lot of academic research, and 1 every 12 seconds or 1 every 45 words is roughly average.
Yeah.
If one of your team members is 2, 3, 4 every 12 seconds, that'll indicate they're not confident in the knowledge of the service or product they're trying to talk about. So additional training can be given. Things like the number of questions a client is asking. If they're not asking any questions in a 5-10 minute conversation, they're not engaged. Then you've got buying signals. In a 10-12 minute conversation, can you remember every single buying signal that you, of course you can't.
No.
Our system detects that. And there's a whole multitude of things. So you can go back over the call and reflect, but also as a manager or leader of your sales team, you can say, well, John, you're missing the buying signals here. You're seeing things you shouldn't. You're missing these objections and you're just scooting over them. So let's give you the additional training to be better. And something I need to absolutely sort of hammer home is that we want to enhance human performance, not replace it. So this system is not so we can have robots doing the calls. This is so we can have your team making better quality, quantity of calls, and you've got the data and you're much better informed. So you can see the holes in your business in the development areas and then give that to your team to make them better.
But I think that's what impressed me so much about this, that it's got several different layers to it. So it's not just a management tool, it's much more than that. It's also for use by the actual person making the calls, because it can help them as well. So it's not necessarily there to trip them up. It's not a glorified recorder that's just literally sort of that black box recorder that's recording all the disasters. It's actually prompting them on what to say, when to sort of change the conversation. It's a very, very, very intelligent system, isn't it?
Oh, it's unreal. From a management tool and a leadership tool, you can pull reports. Of course, we're refining and we're tweaking the reports based on the feedback from our beta testers who are using it. But one of the things as well is gamification and leaderboards. So we every single leader or business owner that's ever seen it, yourself included, has gone, wow, that's amazing. But we want to get the users on board. So it's all about adoption. So one of the things we've done is we've got gamification. So if you think Audible, Duolingo, Strava, things like that, you get certain badges when you achieve certain outcomes.
Yes.
You know, calling every type of call, like every type of lead, calling out of hours, having successful calls. You get, 50, 100, 250, you get certain badges. So you can see what you've got, but you can also see what your colleagues have got. And you can see what you need to achieve the locked badges. You've also got that leaderboard element where you're promoting a healthy competitive culture, where I'm saying, I'm not letting Mincy get more than me, and not letting JP get more. So it's that healthy culture. In terms of, will our team like it? If you've got somebody that's got no ambition to be better, doesn't want to learn to be better, is not bothered whether if they're bottom of the leaderboard and they're not asked about getting the badges, they will hate this. But then my response would be, is that the sort of person you want to employ?
Yeah, it's arguably the wrong person to be doing prospecting, that's for sure. So not everybody's going to be up for this, but the people that have, maybe a competitive edge in a sales environment. But I think also, if you were to take the gamification and also turn that into an incentive, you as a business owner, you can decide what to do with that. So it can be more than just the badges that they achieve. If you wanted to say, listen, we're going to take the whole team out for drinks this weekend. If we hit X, Y, Z, you can reward them whichever way you want. And I think that kind of lines up incentive, because it's always nice to sort of feed the gamification into something that everybody benefits from.
Oh, exactly. So, you phone up any call center, you will get these calls are recorded for training and monitoring purposes. So all we are doing is taking that training and monitoring and actually presenting the data so that the business owner can do what they see fit with that data. We're not saying you've got to sack people or promote people. We're just giving you valuable insights and, more importantly, complete transparent oversight of what your team are doing. The gamification is great. So if you've got a single branch, you've got a leaderboard to see who's the best and who's the not the performing. But also if you've got a multi-branch, so you can see where you are as an individual ranking across multiple branches. And because we are getting more and more agents from across the UK signing up on our beta just before we launch in a week or so, you're going to be ranked in the UK. So you might be the head honcho or top dog in your single branch, but you're number 999 out of 1,000 across the UK.
Yeah.
So you, as a business owner, can say, JP, you're all right in our little branch here, but this is what it looks like. You're good. You need to be better. So it's not only your branch, it's across the entire UK. So the more and more people that adopt this, you will see you're going up or down accordingly in the UK.
It'll be super interesting to sort of see what the results are further on down the line as to what good, because none of us, I suppose, have ever done a multi sort of league table. So we all know how, as you say, how good we are in our own corner, in our own office. But really, what does good look like across our industry? What are we capable of achieving? When we're going at it flat out. So it's great, and I think that the net result after all of this is this is something that is absolutely lead gen. This is absolutely going to add to your bottom line if you're consistent with it. And it's the one message that all trainers across the world in every country will tell you: when it comes to property, nothing is quite as effective as picking up that phone and talking to somebody. You can send as many emails as you want, as many LinkedIn messages as you want, but it's that, what does Tom Panos say? Property is a contact sport, right?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I mean, and he got it for a chap, and I knew I was going to forget his name. He used to say back in the 70s, business is a contact sport. It's not meant to be for the faint-hearted.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of research again done on this, that over 30% of leads or prospects prefer to be contacted by the phone, and yet we're sending out emails. And depending on what your open rate is, a 25% open rate sending an email is good. So what we're saying is that there's a 3 in 4 chance that our client might not even see this email, and yet we still continually send emails. It makes sense to pick up the phone, make that connection. And phone calls are harder, believe it or not. Don't get ignored as easy as emails. If it's a mobile, people tend to pick it up. And what our system does is, what our system does as well is, when made from the call, because the calls are recorded, because they transcribe the text, and because it's automatically summarized and put back in your CRM, that notes section of your CRM is automatically populated with a standardized response. So you're not going to get anything missed. I mean, how many times have we, when we had an agency, gone on to read the notes and there's nothing there, or it's incomplete, or this is missing, that's missing. It's giving you, when you're prospecting, all the information you need to make better quality calls.
Yeah, well, I've got to hold my hands up. I was the worst at note taking out of all my team. But yeah, no, you're right. It is frustrating. It's particularly when there's an issue that you're trying to resolve, you always go to the notes. You want that history. But I think this is great because it may tell you things like, don't contact this person again. They're absolutely not in the market, absolutely not receptive. Or it might tell you, that they are actually actively thinking about it. They've got a target date of 12 months' time because the kid's in school and they want to move then. So in our industry, it makes sense to have those conversations if you can tap into what their life cycle is at the moment. So, are they expanding? Are they shrinking? Are the kids leaving home? Have they gone to university? All these sort of things that trigger moves very often. They come up in conversation when you talk to people about their property.
Oh, 100%. And the more and more data that we collect because of this, the more and more research we can do. So for example, one of the things that we're working on, and it's in the roadmap, is that when we're running the call through call sentiment analysis, it will give the tone of voice and the attitude of the prospect. So it will also eventually put that in the notes section. So it might say that, we phoned David Mintz, he's a prickly customer, don't mention this, don't mention that.
What a misery. What a misery.
Oh, he's miserable. He's a right miserable bugger. But again, you're forewarned as forearmed. You're going to get them conversations with very, very good notes. And more important than that, various tones of voice, what to say, what not to say, the current conversations. You can't have enough data in those types of prospect calls.
No, absolutely superb. And it's very exciting to see this evolve. And I know that you've had some agents sort of started beta testing this, and I think the feedback and the excitement, there were more than a few raving fans out there, which is great at this early stage. So for people watching this, the 29th of January is your official launch. What can they expect if they tune into your webinar?
Great. So I'm gonna go over all the benefits and therefore the features. It's not going to be a full-on tour because we'll switch people off, but we're going to show all the juicy bits, exactly, the call summarization and how that goes back into your CRM. We're going to talk about what we call the call genius. So that's literally how within seconds you can have any call that your team have made and be listening in, read the summarization or read the entire transcript. And there's about 60 or 70 different parameters. So you can search by person, by branch, by outcome, by objection, by the reason to the call, loads of different ways. We're going to go through the call sentiment analysis as well to show what information is collected, and leaderboards, gamification. We'll go through the whole shooting match, and I'll answer any questions as well. I'll also talk a bit about the roadmap, what we've got planned for the next couple of months, because we've got some really, really exciting things planned in integration with WhatsApp, call scripts as well. We've got static prompts. So, if you've got a new member of staff and they're making a call to, say, for example, market appraisals or leads or past lost business, you might want certain things to be mentioned in the call. So you might want 3 or 4 things from a customer experience point of view, such as always asking to use their name, never interrupt. But you also might have best practice, such as always ask if they've got a mortgage, always ask if if they've found an onward move, things like that. So when you make a call, that will be on your screen, reminding you to get these points across in a conversation. So there's lots of really cool things that we're bringing out over the next couple of months, but we wanted just to get this out to the market, get people using it, get adopting it, and then obviously over the coming months we can really
refine it and improve it. Yeah, no, absolutely. So January 29th, 12:30, the link is with this video, so you can log on, and there will be opportunities for people to watch it back at a later stage. At Kerfuffle, we're going to try and do something a little bit more fun. I think you're providing us with some videos which give us a light walk through the system, and we're going to give you our kind of perspective on it. And we've got a couple of, as I say, industry veterans who know a thing or two about systems and also prospecting, but all of that is yet to come. JP, thank you very much for your time, and best of luck with the launch. It's very, very exciting.
Thanks, David. Appreciate it.